Hi, in this video I'll be doing something slightly different to what I normally do in my product videos. But what I'm doing today is I'm actually installing a Neff integrated dishwasher. This is a new kitchen, it's a kitchen from IKEA, and although the quality of it is very good, what I am finding is that the doors are very deep. So when you come to install the door onto the integrated dishwasher, then if I just screw it on, then what will happen is it will actually hit the bottom of the dishwasher. So there are two options. Either I can lower the height of the dishwasher and that should sort that out, but it's not ideal and quite a few manufacturers don't really like it either when you reduce the height, because clearly if you don't seal the top, then the moisture can get out and it can actually go over the top of the dishwasher. So it's not really ideal. But what IKEA have done is they've actually bought this out. Just show you this. This is, just pronounce it right, it's called the Behjalplig, and essentially what this is, it's actually a sliding hinge. So what I want to do is I want to install this on the dishwasher just to make sure it all works. So what should happen is as you open the door, rather than it hitting on the bottom, the door itself, because it's on a sliding hinge, then it should actually raise up. So it is a new thing that IKEA have just brought out, so I thought I'd give it a go and see if it works. So what I want to do is to take you through a step-by-step guide through the instructions. I'm quite familiar with IKEA products. A lot of the cabinets and things are fairly easy to build. I must say the instructions, considering it's just a sliding hinge for the dishwasher, it looks quite comprehensive. So I'm not quite sure how long this video will take, but I really want to give it a go, so let's have a look. So the first step that IKEA recommend is just to get the dishwasher in, get it all plumbed in and connected, and then once it's all in, then get it all raised up to the top, so the feet at the bottom, get those raised up and then secure it at the top. Don't forget to put the vapor barrier, as they call it. Different manufacturers have different things. So if you've installed the dishwasher, then it might have come with a steel strip. IKEA do actually supply some tape to go along the top, but I do definitely recommend using that. So once that's all in place, then you're ready to get on to the next stage. So for the next stage, what you need to do is you just need to open the door. The main thing to mention is that on an integrated dishwasher, when you haven't got the door on, then it can flip up quite easily. So just be really careful. But what we need to do is to measure between where the door sits and the bottom of the cabinet. Now it won't be standard because it can depend on the height of the worktop that you've got. That can vary a little bit. So just measure that first of all. So the height of mine is actually 135mm from the door down to the bottom of the cabinet. And you'll see here, this is the instructions. You've actually got a little device that comes with it. There's a little metal device, and it'll make it a lot clearer in a moment when I show you. But all you do is just have a look as to which one it sits in. So as you can see for this kitchen here, then it's 135mm. So I'm going to be using A. And then if you just get this little metal device that comes with the package, then just pop it on the corner. Just make sure it's nice and snug there. If you've got the door on this side, then you should find that's quite easy. All I need to do, because I'm using A, is to punch 2 holes in the side there. A couple of ways to do it. You can either just mark it with say a pencil and then drill afterwards. I do find it's quite easy just to try and punch the holes, and then it's a nice easy guide for when you're drilling the hole. So once you've got the 2 holes marked out, then what you'll need to do is go to the packet and just find this. This is clearly a drill bit, but what I do love about some of the IKEA packages is that first of all it's the correct size, but what they've done is they put this collar on it so that when you're drilling it, then it only goes a certain depth. So just go and find that, and also you'll need this piece as well. It's just like a teardrop shape. So what we want to do is we want to drill, although you've got 2 holes here, just drill into the first one, do not drill into the second one. And And then once you've done that, you just want to make sure that the hole is clear of any wood shavings. So just pop this in that hole. As I say, only drill the hole on the outer side, don't do it on the inside. Then what you need to do is find one of these. This is just one of the small screws. There are only 2 of the flathead screws in the packet, so just hunt those 2 out. And what you want to do is locate the hole on the other side and then just screw that in. And just make sure that that's nice and tight. It doesn't need to be too tight, just do that up fully. Once you've done it that side, then repeat the step the same the other side. And then once you've done that, go into the packet and you need to look for this metal bar. So the next thing you need to do is just know what the size of the dishwasher is. Majority of integrated dishwashers are just under 60 centimeters wide, the same as this one. If you are working with a 45 centimeter dishwasher, then all you need to do is to undo the screw on this bar and pull this bar in until you get to that hole, and then do the screw back up. If you are working with a 60 centimeter one, as most people will be, then just locate this in both sides. And I'll just show you this, because on this side it's got a spring at the end here, so this will just enable you to push it in, and hopefully it might be a little bit tight like this one is. That's it. So it's a nice fit, so that fits in there nicely because I've got both holes drilled either side and it's in there, and we're ready to move on to the next stage. So for this next stage, what you need to do is find these 2 pieces, and what they also recommend, which can make life a lot easier, are using some clamps. These are just a couple I've got. Unfortunately I've only got 2. In the instructions they do recommend using 4, but hopefully I should be okay just using the 2. So what we need to do is you need to lower the door of the dishwasher, and both sides you need to match this up. So in the corners just at the top here, so match it up, and then once you've done that, then clamp it. So I need to clamp it just here and then pop a screw halfway down. So it's very difficult for me to show you this at the moment, but halfway down here there is a hole going through the inside of the door. So have a look in the manufacturer's instructions, because you should have the screws included with that. So I've got this side clamped on. Just a word of warning, just be careful depending on what clamps you're using. These have actually got like plastic protectors on, but if it hasn't, then I would recommend just putting something on here, because the last thing you want to do is to damage the inside of your dishwasher. So now that I've got the screw in that side, then just a word of warning again, just make sure you don't need to do it too tight. I did notice that I started to do it up a little bit tighter, so I've just slackened it off a little bit, but now I've got that in, it's nicely clamped at the top. So what I will do is I'll set it up the same the other side, put the other clamp on and get the screw in down the right hand side. So hopefully at this stage then you should have both sides on. So all I've got is one screw just halfway down here, just going through the inside of the door through to the piece of wood here. I've still left the clamps on the top here, but just again a word of warning that just make sure you don't let the door swing up, because if you do, like I almost did a minute ago, then the top of the clamp here could damage the worktop. So I'm glad I was paying a bit more attention. So for the next stage you can actually take the clamps off now, and what we need to do is so I'll just remove both of those, just put those to the side, and the next piece to find is this from the packet. Again, this is for the 60 centimeter dishwasher, but in the instructions it does say that if you are installing a 45 centimeter dishwasher, then just measure out 45 centimeters across here, get a hacksaw and then just cut it down there. But clearly for my dishwasher then I'm using a 60 centimeter one, so I'll carry on with this. So the next thing is to locate 4 of these screws in the packet. There will only be 4 of them. It is again a flathead. It's not that one, so there are quite a few of these screws in the packet. These are a little bit longer and it's slightly bigger on top, but just locate 4 of those The part number is 113928, and then once you've done that, then what we want to do is to just lower the dishwasher door and put the bar across the top here, and hopefully what you should find is that the 4 holes that are just at the top here, they should locate with the top of the wood here. So what I'll do is I'll put the 4 screws in, and that'll make it a lot more secure, because clearly I've only got 1 screw in either side at the moment, so the top does move around a little bit. So that's okay, nothing to worry about. But what I'll do is I'll get the 4 screws in here. So what I found worked really well there is I've got the bar at the top, I'll put all 4 screws in loosely, but now what I can do is I can just line it up either side, and then once you've got it all lined up and you make sure that's flush with the side as well, then just go along and tighten each screw up. Again, it doesn't need to be tight, it doesn't need to be extremely tight, just finger tight. I'm quite a fan of using things like electric screwdrivers, but I must admit with things like this, because it's, you know, the screws are so short, that I'm just using a manual screwdriver at the moment. So I'm quite pleased with how it's going so far, so I thought I'd just go and make a brew. So I've got a nice cup of tea on the go. But anyway, put that to the side. So the next stage you need to look at, so you need to get these 2 parts from the packet. Just note which ones you need to get. So just make sure, get this one first. So this is where the slot's cut out on the right hand side, and you've got the letters at the bottom, and you need this plastic part as well. I don't really know what to call these, so it's just the plastic part. There's only 2 of them in there. But for this one, for the first one, you need to take this off. So just keep moving that round. The plastic will give way, you shouldn't need to cut it off. Just keep twisting it until that comes off. Okay, I stand corrected. I've twisted this quite a bit and it's not come off. So I've just got some scissors and just cut along the side there. So that I'd recommend, just get a nice sharp pair of scissors, cut down the right hand side on the first one. So once you've got that side cut off, then on the other side you just need to fold that behind. Clearly it won't stay behind at the moment, but that's what you need to do. And then what you need to do is get the other piece of metal and the other plastic part. I'll keep calling it the plastic part, but what you need to do is just repeat that again. But what you need to do on this one is, on this time we need to remove the left hand side one. So on the other one we remove the right hand side. So I'm going to remove the left hand side, and I'm not going to keep twisting it. I'm just going to get my nice sharp pair of scissors and just cut that off. And same as I did before, just locate it. So I'll try and show you underneath. Just push that into the groove. It can be a little bit stiff, which is okay. Push that up and make sure it goes up to the letter required. So clearly I wanted A, and that's that stage done. Now for this next part, what we need to do is to put the door just on a work surface. It's normally easier to work up at this height rather than being on the floor all the time. But what I am going to do is I'm just going to put the box. So this is the box that the IKEA door came in. I'm just going to pop that on there. It just saves damaging either the worktop or the door itself. The first thing to note is that I have put the handle in, so that's something I have done previously. I'd recommend doing that now, so if you haven't done it, then make sure you put the handle in, so you just screw it in from behind. That's quite a simple process to do. So then once you've done that, just turn the door upside down. So then what you need to do at the bottom of the door, so just make sure you know which is the top and the bottom. So for me I've got the handle up there, so I know it's obvious, but sometimes these things can get a little bit confusing, especially if you're like me. So what you need to do is just get that part again. This is what we used earlier to mark out some of the holes on the cabinet. And what we're going to do is look for the hole here next to the letter E. And we're just going to pop it on the side here, I'll just turn this around a little bit so you can see it easier. So what I've done is I've put this on the corner. I've just made sure it's nice and tight against each corner, and all you want to do is just punch a little hole in there. A couple of options. You can either use things like a nail just to make sure you just indent a little hole. I find that's a bit easier, and then turn it over, and then from the other side. So again, make sure it's nice and tight in each corner, and just punch a hole in there, and that's marked those holes out. So the next thing we need to do is just pop these on the doors. The only thing I will point out is just make sure that once you've folded these down, so you do that and then put it on the door. So make sure you do that both sides. You want to do that before we screw this down. As you can see there, it does pop up a little bit. I will just point out that in the instructions, it does show you at the top here, so it does show you there are different methods for different types of doors. So clearly companies like IKEA will have quite a few different types of doors. There are other versions, so if you've got, just try and find it in here. So if you've got, say, 3 pieces that you want to attach all together on the door, then there are different methods. So that's why the book of instructions is so comprehensive. But clearly what I'm doing is I'm working on just one solid door. So if anything, this probably works out to be hopefully a little bit easier. But the next stage, once you've got these located roughly here, just find the hole that you've just marked at the bottom here, and get one of these screws. So you've got quite a few in the packet, and just locate the little indentation, and all we want to do is to screw that in. So again, you don't want to do it too tight, just make sure it's enough to get the screw in there. And what you need to do is you just need to measure, so make sure that the gap here, because as you can see here, it is quite loose. You need to measure to make sure that that is 19 millimeters. So there is a bit of play, you've got a bit of flexibility. So just get a tape measure and measure 19 millimeters, and then do that up a little bit tighter. So once you've got that screw in, then what you need to do is measure 19 millimeters up to the top here to make sure it's nice and even. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a nail and just punch a little hole in here. It just makes life a bit easier before putting the screw in. So once you've got this screw in, then you just need to pop 2 more in. And again, as you're doing it, just make sure it's nice and level. I must admit I cheated. I went to my electric screwdriver because for things like that it's just so much easier than the manual screwdriver. But once you've done that, then just have a quick measure. Just again, now it's all tight, just have a quick measure, just make sure it is 19 millimeters across here to the edge of the door. And then once you've done that, then just repeat it on the other side. So now I've got those screwed in, I have double checked that I've got 19 millimeters from the side here to the edge of the door. So that's all okay, that's all screwed in place. I've got 4 screws in each side. So now what you need to do is to just locate this. So hopefully earlier you can remember which letter you're working towards. It's either A, B, C or D. So I'll just show you, these are the 4 different heights that you would be working towards. So the underside of my cabinet to the underside of the dishwasher door when it's open was 135 millimeters. That's the maximum, but there are several others. You can go from 114 to 134, 95 to 114, or 75 to 94. So you've got 4 different heights there. But clearly what I'm working towards is letter A, and all you need to do is just to move this down so that you can see A. If I was working, say, down to C, then I just want to bring it a little bit lower. And the same principle with putting these screws in. Just put like a little pilot hole in there, and then just put 2 screws in each side. So I'll do that now. So this for me is the nerve-wracking bit, because we've clearly got everything on the dishwasher, that's all screwed in place. We've got everything on the door, so really this is the stage to make sure that everything fits okay. So what we need to do now is to look for the lugs just here. So you've got both of those either side, and what you want to do is to open the door a little bit, and you want to try and feed it into here. So it might take a moment to do it, and it might help if you've got someone else around that can just hold the door open a little bit. And then once you've got it located at the top, then what you need to do is just make sure that when you pull the door down, you slide it down, it just locates at the bottom here. I know it's quite difficult to see because it's just clicked into place. And I'll just try and show you this, but once you slide it into the top and you slide it down, just be really careful, because I must admit it took me a couple of minutes to sort of locate it both sides, make sure it goes in square, and then once you drop it down, then hopefully you can see that the bar on the bottom here is just clipped in. So hopefully that should drop in nicely there, and then we're ready to move on to the next stage. Now this next step is really difficult to show you physically on the dishwasher because the dishwasher is in now, but just look for these parts, these little white plastic parts, and I'll show you in the instructions where the metal bar is and the grey plastic part. I keep calling it the grey plastic part, I can't think of anything else to call it, but all you need to do is with that just clip it in there, and that just makes sure that it's not going to move around. The other thing you might find, which I've found here, is that even though I've screwed the dishwasher into place, I mean it's only a couple of screws, but the dishwasher is sticking out a bit too far. It's not a big deal, because originally when I first installed it, I wasn't quite aware that I needed to use this kind of sliding hinge design. So all I've had to do is to unscrew the couple of screws at the top of the dishwasher that hold the dishwasher in place underneath the worktop. Just push the dishwasher back a little bit. Well, I say a little bit, it was about a centimetre that it had to go back, because clearly the sliding hinge mechanism takes up a bit of space. So all I've done, I've pushed it back. I did check to make sure it fits into place. I had to do it a couple of times just to make sure I've pushed it back far enough, but I've got plenty of space going back behind the dishwasher, so that was okay. And then once I've done that, then I've got it screwed in. And then the final thing to do is just to adjust the height of the door. So that's quite an easy process. All you need to do is, you've got a couple of wheels, unfortunately I won't be able to show you because it's quite difficult to see behind the door, but you've got a couple of wheels, they're about that big, they're on that grey plastic part that I keep talking about. So just turn the wheels both sides, you need to do it at the same time, and what that will do, that will raise or lower the height of the door so that you can match it up with all the other cabinets. So I will just show you this in action, and clearly you can see the top of the door and the dishwasher like that, and as you open it, then the door itself is coming quite a bit further away from the dishwasher, and when it is completely down, then that's the difference. And then as it goes back up, it's just using that sliding mechanism. So that's exactly what IKEA needed to do. This apparently is quite a new product. There are other products on the market that can do a similar thing, but this is the IKEA product that I've been using, mainly because the kitchen is IKEA, and I just wanted really to see whether it worked, and clearly it does. So I hope you found it useful, that video on the installation of the Behjalplig onto the integrated dishwasher, the sliding hinge mechanism with the IKEA door. All I'd normally say is please subscribe to my channel, click the subscribe button and leave any comments below. I'd normally ask for comments, whether it's good or bad, about the video itself. If you have got any questions on this, because I'm sure some people might have questions about the installation, What I will do is I will keep the instructions, so if you've got any comments or questions, then just pop it in the comments and I'll try and help and get back to you. Anyway, thanks for watching.